हो गया। अब आएगी आवाज।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम डॉक्टर साहब। डॉक्टर साहब, कैन यू हियर अस? डॉक्टर काशिफुर रहमान सर, आप हमारी आवाज सुने?
अब तो आवाज आ रही है।
नहीं आवाज इधर से भी नहीं आ रही, वो बोल नहीं पा रहा।
अब आप स्क्रीन भी शेयर कर लेंगे। आप पहले अवैध से पूछें कि अवैध से आप बोलो शिबाना कि अवैध आपको आप हमारी आवाज आ रही है?
जी जी आ रही है आपकी आवाज, जी जी आ रही है आपकी आवाज, आप शुरू करें।
अवैस, डॉक्टर काशिफुर रहमान तक आवाज जा रही है क्या? Because
जी
we are not receiving any response from him. जी डॉक्टर, वेलकम डॉक्टर साहब।
अस्सलामुअलैकुम।
डॉक्टर साहब
थैंक यू।
शेयर नीचे इधर आपके कॉर्नर पे। मैं पूछूं डॉक्टर साहब, मैं शुरू करूं?
जी फ्रॉम माय साइड इट्स ओके, आप स्टार्ट करवा दें।
थैंक यू।
ओके मैम, आप शुरू कीजिए।
जी, I am Firdaus Shafkat, and the topic of my research study is impact of educational reforms and policies on the quality of higher education in Pakistan. This is an overview of my presentation. First of all, I'm going to talk about background, and after background, I'm going to discuss with you objectives, research questions. And then I'm going to move towards research methodology. And after that, I'm going to talk about findings and then conclusion, and lastly, suggestions and recommendations. Background. In order to produce dynamic, enterprising, responsible, and better citizen, all education systems around the world are undergoing change and introducing different reforms and policies with a stance of bringing quality in higher education. Quality development in higher education became popular in the last decade. Quality is a multi-dimensional concept, and it covers all the major components of higher education: teaching and academic progress, research and scholarship, staffing, students, infrastructure, and academic environment. After 1980, due to the expansion in higher education with limited budget, internationalization, globalization of higher education, economic competition between different countries, and ideologies of new liberalism gave a new awareness, or a new awareness came about quality of higher education. Next slide. Background. We are going to continue background, but in this slide, we are going to talk about Pakistani context. In Pakistan, there is lack of research on higher education, which has affected the issues of quality education. The role of higher education in Pakistan is passive and has not yet become changing agent as in other societies. Lack of quality element in higher education can make the situation. In the last 2 decades, higher education in Pakistan was poor, inefficient, and outdated. Based on traditional strategies like rote learning and memorizing for higher education was far less and insufficient for development and bringing improvement in higher education. Objectives of the study: to measure the quality of higher education in terms of quality of courses or programs perceived by faculty and students. To find out the quality of higher education in terms of teacher performance perceived by students. To measure the research facilities available to graduate and postgraduate students. To find out the impact of educational reforms and policies on the quality of public and private higher education institutions in Pakistan. Research questions. What is the quality of higher education in terms of quality of courses, program perceived by faculty and students? What is the quality of higher education in terms of teacher performance perceived by students? What research facilities are available to graduate and postgraduate students? What is the impact of education reforms and policies on the quality of public and private higher education institutions in Pakistan? How these educational reforms can be improved to meet the challenges of higher education in the 21st century and prepare the student to contribute in the social and economic development of the country. Theoretical framework. A theoretical framework synthesizes existing theories and related concepts and empirical research to develop a foundation for new theory development. Number one, quality theories. Number two, higher education theories. The theoretical framework of this thesis was based on quality in higher education in the context of Pakistan higher education sector. This thesis assessed the impact of education reforms and policies on the quality of higher education in Pakistan from 2005 till 2015. Theoretical framework. Connecting the two theoretical framework for measuring the impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan by assessing quality perceptions by teachers and students. Measuring the impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan by assessing the quality of programs offered by higher education institutions in Pakistan. Measuring the impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan by assessing the quality of research facilities available in Higher Education Institute of Pakistan. Measuring the impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan by evaluating the quality of teachers in higher education institutions. Measuring the impact of reforms on the difference in quality of public and private higher education institute in Pakistan. Theoretical framework. Reforms in Pakistan's higher education sector, quality framework, higher education framework, and then we are going to see the impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan. Reforms, theoretical framework, reforms in Pakistan higher education sector, framework under study. Quality framework, higher education framework, impact of reforms on the quality of higher education in Pakistan, and 3 indicators of quality have been selected: quality of program, quality of teachers, quality of research in public and private sector. Review of related literature. Muslims of subcontinent prioritize education as the hallmark of Muslim civilization. They spread education and consequently general behavior, interaction, ceremonies, and rituals of people change to a large extent. The standard of education in the universities of public and private sector was not satisfactory, and students, after completing their graduation, were not taken as a good resource for the social and economic development of the country. The reason behind was the weak background and low quality primary and secondary education. To produce dynamic, enterprising, responsible, and better citizens, all education systems around the world are undergoing change and introducing different reforms and policies with a stance of bringing quality in higher education. The role of higher education in Pakistan is passive and has not yet become changing agent as in other societies. In Pakistan, there is a lack of research on higher education, which has affected the issue of quality education. After independence, efforts were made to increase number of universities and degree awarding institutions, but due to lack of budget, number remained only 4 in the first decade. Due to various problems prevailing under the system, such as less qualified teachers with less teaching training, promotion of violence and intolerance, in curricula, insufficient investment by the government, poor quality of teaching aids and the textbook, poor quality of teaching aids and the textbook, corruption and weak capacities of different institutions, both at the local and at the central level. The quality of higher education could not be raised. The education and research are irrelevant to the pertinent issues faced by the country and its development. Another important issue confronted by the policy maker of higher education of Pakistan was language problem. In performance report for the year 2002, to 2008, HEC acknowledged the importance of teacher, as the HEC knew a quantum change in the quality of research and education could not be brought about by improvement in the quality of faculty. A poor faculty produced poor graduates. The prime need, therefore, was to invest in creating high quality faculty. Pakistan's higher education system has less qualified teachers with less teaching training, promotion of violence. Actually, you see the last bullet, this is the point which I have already, mentioned in the last slide. So you see that I'm going to move to the next slide. Now you see the next slide is about the research methodology. This is a mixed method research was used to investigate the impact of education reforms and policies on the quality of higher education. Justification for mixed method. The overall purpose of mixed method was that the use of quantitative and qualitative approaches in combination provides a better understanding of research problems and phenomena under study than either approach alone. Better understanding can be obtained by triangulating one set of results with another and thereby enhancing the validity of inferences. Quantitative methodology. In quantitative paradigm, it was designed as a causal comparative or ex post facto research for assessing three indicators of quality, named performance indicator for program evaluation, performance indicator for teacher evaluation, and performance indicator for research evaluation were selected for the present study. 6 universities, including public and private sector, were selected conveniently from district Lahore. The data was analyzed by descriptive and inferential statistics using ANOVA and independent sample t-test for comparing quality measures in both sectors. 5 major measures, 5 major measures in form of questionnaires were selected from Higher Education Commission's website to gauge the quality. Population and selection of participants. There are total 37 public and private universities in district Lahore. A sample of 600 respondents, 500 graduate and postgraduate, including MPhil and PhD students, and 100 teachers were selected through stratified random sampling from 3 public and 3 private sector universities. Total 412 graduates and postgraduate students and 61 university teachers returned the questionnaire. This is a table in which we are going to see the questionnaire titles and the participants' detail. Performer number 1 means that the question number 1, this is all about student course evaluation. And this was filled by the graduate students from different public and private higher education institutions. And then performer number 3. This is the second questionnaire, insight from graduating students about different programs, including internship experience. This is also filled, this performer is also filled by graduate students. Performer number 4, research students progress review. You see that this is a very important performer, and both you see the graduate, postgraduate students, including MPhil and PhD students, they filled in this questionnaire. Performer 5, you see this is the staff or faculty satisfaction with program. You see this is all about, and all the teachers they filled in this questionnaire. Performer 10, teacher performance evaluation. Graduate and postgraduate students, they gave the evaluation of their teachers to this performer. Procedure of the study. The research included quantitative research tools like questionnaire. The questionnaires were distributed among teachers and students in different private and public higher education institutions using stratified random sampling. Questionnaire number 1, 4, and 5 had open-ended questions at the end to allow participants to comment some phenomena in detail as per their perception. Instrumentation. The following were the instruments for this research study. The first questionnaire measured quality of higher education in terms of quality of courses, facilities available in campus, relevance of lectures, and effectiveness of course instructions. The second questionnaire, performer number 3, was used to know the perception of students about different programs, including BA, BSc, MS, and PhD programs, and relevant internship experience. The third questionnaire, performer number 4, was used to know the progress of research students, including research facilities. The fourth questionnaire, performer number 5, was about faculty satisfaction with program. The fifth questionnaire, performer number 10, was used to evaluate teacher performance from students of graduate and postgraduate students. Data collection. The researcher used stratified random sampling technique to select participants from the selected 6 universities. These responses were generated from the city of Lahore, the center of higher education institutions. Stratification was done based on position and roles of teacher and student. It was also ensured that participants belong to various fields within the educational institutes and organizations. A demographically diverse sample was ensured, which included people from all age group and genders to minimize any bias in this regard. Therefore, a sample of 600 respondents, 500 graduate, postgraduate, including MPhil and PhD students, and 100 teachers were selected through stratified random sampling from 3 public and 3 private sector universities. Total 412 postgraduate students and 61 university teachers returned the questionnaire. Data collection, frequency distribution of students across departments. This is the table in which we are going to see that the different departments of different universities, we have collected the data from different universities and different departments. Qualitative methodology. Qualitative methodology, you see that the higher education institutions that we are going to see that there are private and public sector institutions. So you see that first of all, we selected the universities, and then we are going to see the deans. We are going to have interviews from deans, controller examination, director research, director Eric, and senior faculty members. Qualitative methodology, instruments for qualitative study. Sorry, you see this is a slide that we are going to make a bit more. Instrument for qualitative study. The instrument used for qualitative research was semi-structured interview. 4 major questions were designed about the gap found from literature review. The protocol was pilot tested with 2 educational leaders and was refined for correction of language and scope of answers having expert opinion. The interview protocol with introduction and letter of consent was presented to the participants individually before the interview was conducted. Population of the study: deans, head of departments, controller examination, director research, director quality enhancement cell and quality assurance cell, manager ORIC, and senior faculty member of all major universities of Lahore formed the population of the study. The total number of participants were 20. Sample: 20 participants were selected, including dean, head of different departments, senior faculty member, controller examination, director research, manager ORIC, director quality enhancement cell, and quality assurance cell. Data transcription and analysis. The analysis of interview firstly involved recording and transcription of the information. It was ensured that time lag between recording and transcription was minimized to enable a smooth analysis process, as indicated by Breman and Bell 2012. After transcription, the data was coded. Initial coding was the first step in data reduction, and this was the probe by which the researcher identified patterns, sequences, or relationship in the recorded information. As themes began to emerge following coding, the information became sharper and more focused. The major themes were expected, and descriptive interpretations of the themes generated were provided under the conceptual maps for each major theme. Ethical consideration. Individuals were briefed before and after the interviews about the purpose and the topic of the research. All respondents were informed that they have been selected purposely and that their response would be recorded anonymously, and all information obtained from the interview would be kept secure, and that their personal information would remain confidential. Interview discussions were recorded using a digital voice recorder for making transcript after obtaining consent of respondent. Demographic information of participants, qualitative methodology. This is the second side of the qualitative methodology, and in this table you see that we are able to see the age and the year of experience, public and private higher education institutions for qualitative study. Validity and reliability. The reliability coefficient have been given below for all questionnaires used in the study. No matter, you see that we have taken all these performance questionnaires from HEC website, and they have, you see, tested the validity and reliability, but we also check the reliability, and the value of the Cronbach alpha shows that the reliability is more than satisfactory level. Findings. Independent sample t-test for comparison of public and private sector students for course evaluation. You see that we used independent sample t-test, and you see the value of 0.4 is shows that there is no marked or significant difference between private and public sector higher education institutions, because higher education, you see that the HEC and started introducing reforms and policies, and they gave grants to private institutions and public sector. So in this way, we are going to see that there is a gradual improvement in public sector, and there is no marked difference between the public and private sector higher education sector in terms of, you see that the course evaluation, while we are going to see this is a result of the reforms and the policies introduced between 2005 till 15, that the public sector has shows marked improvement in various fields, including infrastructure, quality of courses, and effectiveness of instruction. And the second finding is one-way ANOVA. You see that we divided our data in 4 groups: professors, associate professor, assistant professor, lecturers. All right, and then we are going to see that there is no significant difference between the opinion and the views of all these groups. The public and the private sector students were found satisfied in terms of content of programs, time management, delivery of lecture, as well as the physical environment of the institutions. These programs were also found helpful in enhancing the teamwork and the abilities to work together among the students. The programs were found effective and helpful in developing the analytical and problem-solving skills amongst the students. Students in the public and the private sector were found highly satisfied with the internship facilities offered by the colleges and the universities. The internship experience is found lucrative in inculcating ethical values, the ability to work as a team, encourage independent thinking and professional development. It also helped in building judgment, discipline, establishing a link between theory and practice, and strengthening time management skills. The availability of learning resources within the labs and research facilities were found to be inadequate, especially regarding modern, sophisticated, and scientific equipment. There was a lack of external and internal training for research. The students were found dissatisfied with their research facilities, as research is an important integral part of higher education. The scholarships and grants were unavailable to the student in hardship cases, which led to dissatisfaction among the students. Most of the students believed that the course material was modern and updated, suiting their needs. On the other hand, teachers found content of the different programs outdated, promote foreign educational ideology, so need to be revised. With regard to class evaluation and management, there were different views held by the public and private sector. The public sector had a larger class, which led to more management and evaluation issues. Some private sector students feel that the teachers misuse their power and authority and indulge in unfair marking. Majority of the faculty members felt that they were overburdened because other than teaching, supervision, publishing articles, and administrative duties, they were forced by the forms to shape the curriculum. Most of the faculty members were not satisfied with the current curricula of different programs offered. Between policy formation and its implementation, and stress the need to bridge the gap essentially. Most popular reforms in public and private sector implemented by HEC to improve the quality of higher education were found: UEC, TTS, NCRC, Quality Enhancement Cell, and daycare centers. An important issue pointed out by faculty members was the medium of instruction. Most of the faculty members from the public sector universities pointed out that English language as medium of instruction is creating hindrance in improving the quality of education. This is because it is significant for creativity and innovation. Around 80% students wanted to give their presentation in Urdu instead of English. Faculty was against the commercialization of education. Most faculty members agreed that there should be a link between industry and academia in order to have more jobs opportunity for students. HEC has started establishing ORE departments in different colleges and universities to create more opportunities for students. Teachers also experienced the lack of academic freedom and found themselves helpless in creating different innovative activities and field trips in colleges and universities. Several existing problems within the system were observed by the students and the faculty members. There was a language barrier which decreased motivation and confidence of the students, a dearth of learning resources, poor infrastructure, and lack of qualified and research-oriented teachers. An issue of quality versus quantity was observed. Many of the faculty members observed that the larger quantity of their workload hindered them from producing quality work. The faculty members proposed that there should be chapters on the improvement of moral values, tolerance, and civic sense for raising better citizens. Excuse me. There is widespread recognition within the teachers, students, and management that these reforms have definitely improved the quality of higher education by initiating an effective education process within the country. Conclusion. In the light of all findings, we can conclude there is widespread recognition within the teachers, students, and management that these reforms have definitely improved the quality of higher education by initiating an effective education process within the country. Most of the students from the public and the private sector found their teachers to be highly cooperative, punctual, showing friendly behavior. Their delivery of knowledge is good, and they possess impressive management skills. According to most of the students, the instructors showed respect, encouraged class participation, maintained an environment conducive for learning. Moreover, the instructor was punctual and regular regarding their teaching and fairness in examination. With regard to class evaluation and management, there was different views held by the public and the private sector. The public sector had a larger class, which led to more management and evaluation issues. Some private sector students feel that the teacher misused their power and authority and indulged in unfair marking. Foreign education ideologies devoid of any foreign educational ideologies devoid of any national or local relevance are in practice, which are not structured and aligned with national and socio-economic needs. Pakistan inherited the structure of its education system from the British in 1947, and over 68 years later, the colonial imprint seems to be evident clearly in the current setup. Our findings reveal teachers and stakeholders in major public institutions voicing great concern and this intellectual colonial phenomenon. with large set of population under the poverty line, it is to be realized that the aims and the objectives of people entering higher educations are different, since majority of the students use education solely as a tool for employment. It is essential that we institute technical and vocational skills within the education system to divert people from higher education where they might be more suited. The complex performance management of teachers imposes huge strain on teachers, as most of them find it extremely difficult to maintain a healthy work-life balance. As a result, there is dearth of quality of research in the higher education sector. Recommendations. The implementation of reforms introduced by HEC to overall higher education system of Pakistan need to be completed diligently. Despite the introduction of reforms which are well received amongst faculty members, the issue of faculty in both public and private sector, along with the performance management of faculty, needs attention. Existing faculty members should have a healthy workload which allows them to complete their teaching responsibility alongside conducting progress in research without any stress. Curriculum development needs urgent attention, especially regarding its language of instruction. To alleviate the academic colonialism, there is urgent need to take national and regional issues into consideration when designing curriculum and to align students' capabilities and background. Provinces should form legislations and design education policies which ensure quality education within the cultural and economic context of each province. Coordination between federal and province HEC department must be significantly improved to streamline the transfer of resources and for the improvement of quality in higher education. An effective monitoring system is needed to avoid corruption and nepotism and to promote a culture of transparency within higher education institutions. Workload of senior faculty member must be reduced to improve the quality of research, and holidays as well as paid breaks must be allowed to staff to improve work-life balance. Financial resources must be used effectively for teachers training program as well as to support the remuneration packages, as staff satisfaction scores seems to be low for this. Research facilities must be provided on priority basis for teachers and students to create a research culture. Clear policies must be formulated about the medium of instruction in higher education institutions. There must be a link between industry and academia to create more job opportunities for young people, but commercialization of education must not be allowed. At higher education level, there must be academic freedom for faculty members, allowing them to conduct field trips and other innovative activities. To improve moral values, tolerance and civic sense, and making people better citizens, new chapters should be included in our textbooks. Budget for higher education must be allocated as per with developed countries to raise quality. Research grants should be increased to equip laboratories with modern, sophisticated and latest scientific equipment. Grants for need-based scholarships and stipend for poor and needy students must be increased to improve the motivation level and satisfaction level among the students. The number of students in a class should be reduced to facilitate teachers and students with reference to evaluation and management. The gap found between policy formation and policy implementation must be bridged to improve the quality of higher education. Measures should be taken to ensure the provision of basic resources and providing access to digital library, shortage of computers and multimedia system in higher education institutions. A decision regarding a uniform medium of instruction should be taken with careful consideration. Suggestions for future research. Quantitative research is to examine infrastructure, Quantitative research is to examine infrastructure, physical and technological facilities at universities. Mixed method research on the quality and the usability of research conducted in Pakistan universities. Establishing ways to engage students from remote areas of Pakistan in higher education. Mixed method research to investigate field utilization of university graduates and ways to meet country needs through higher education. to develop policies for recruiting and retaining faculty for quality teaching, bridging gap in high-ranked international and Pakistani universities' quality performance. This study can further be helpful for policymakers, curriculum designer, administration, and high authorities to solve different issues of higher education at different levels. The finding of the study can serve as a contribution to the existing knowledge available on education reforms and policies in higher education and how these are affecting the quality of higher education in Pakistan. This study has implications for designing future policies in the higher education sector of Pakistan. These are the references.